Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today I'm back with another video here. So a little bit of a different setup here for me tonight. Currently at my girlfriend's place. Flyers pick up a 4-0 win over the Winnipeg Jets in a really good game. The Jets were 17-7 at home. Coming into this one, they lost their last game against Buffalo 3-2. And the Flyers obviously recently playing them and all of that stuff. And the biggest thing was coming off of the last two games where you had some close games you could have won in overtime. You wanted to end January with a win. And the Flyers were 7-4-2 in January up until this point. And I mentioned that on the podcast last night, how the month of January was good for the Flyers. And, just overall, there were a lot of good things in the month. They won a good chunk of games. There were some games that felt like they could have won even regardless. But they finished the month again, like I said, 8-4-2. 44 goals scored, 37 goals against. Obviously, they had, a couple hat tricks and just really good moments overall. Sam Ersson was good. The goaltending was good. They obviously, there was a lot of fights throughout the month, 3 last game and all of that stuff. And just the month of January alone was a huge positive for this team. And they ended with a really solid 4-0 win in Winnipeg against a team that you could have beat a couple games ago. Much more sound defensive game. They didn't give the Jets much of anything, especially in the first period where, if you remember, the last time Winnipeg went up 3-0 and the last time that these teams met in Philly. So really the biggest thing for me was just the start, because the Flyers had a different lineup as well. But this is the first time they've had a different lineup since like December 20th. Hayes, and again, these lines weren't really the same. They literally changed just about the entire game. Hayes was with Lawton and Tippett at times, and then Cates and Lawton would switch at the center position. Van Riemsdyk was then with Cates and Konechny, Frost, Brown and Farabee. Sometimes Frost was with Konechny. Sometimes he was with Van Riemsdyk. Delorier and Bellows were most of the time with Brown. And Bellows coming into the lineup, scratched for their 17 games before this, so he comes in, no Allison. McEwen getting jaw surgery today, so his recovery is around 5 weeks. Could change something for the trade deadline for the Flyers, we'll see. But Carter Hart was in net for this one. The Flyers went with 11-7, so Braun, he slotted into the lineup as well. So first period, Flyers had the 1-0 lead after one, and they get a goal on the power play. Before that, though, there was some chances for both teams. There was about 9 shots in total in the first 4 minutes, 15 seconds or so of this game. Bellows had a pass in tight for Delorier. Konechny had a chance in the slot, and a pretty nice pass by Van Riemsdyk in tight. Hayes kind of had a play where he had guys going in net, held, wait, tried to find a play, just fired it on net, and just kind of scramble in front and ended up getting cleared out. Flyers had some good chances. Delorier had a chance in the slot. D'Angelo ended up hitting the post. Then the Flyers get the power play. They had some looks, and then they get the goal. Konechny had a glorious chance to score, and he was, pointless in the last 3 games, and he had a lot of chances tonight to just get on the board. And, for TK, I know some people were, I guess, worried about Konechny and what was going on. I mean, for him, it's like he was going so hot for a while. He doesn't get any points, so he's pointless through 4 to kind of end out the month. But overall, for him, and again, like the Flyers, a good month. And he had a lot of chances in this game, but again, the goal here comes from Cates, and it was a really nice pass from Frost. It was kind of a bullet down low to him, and he played it off the wall beautifully. I personally thought Frost had a couple good moments in this game. There were some moments where he kind of got knocked off the puck a little bit. There was a play where he got hit in the corner as well. Again, and it's not that my thing with Frost is just, I don't have really many criticisms, to be honest. I think the main thing is just the defensive thing, and he had a really nice defensive play at one point. I think it's just he has to put on some more weight, and I think obviously that's off-season stuff. So that's definitely something for next season. He put on weight going into this year and things like that, but it's definitely showing at times. And also the player that hit him was, I think, maybe 4, 5, 6 inches bigger. So there's that too. But anyway, Cade scores, and it was a really nice play, because they get the puck down low and he sends it in front, and Cates, it's just like a scramble in front, slams it through Hellebuck and in. And the Jets get a power play here for an unsportsmanlike on the Flyers from the bench, and it was on Farabee because he was the one who said something, because there was a call a missed call in New York for a trip. They didn't call it. I guess Farabee said something. The whole bench probably erupted, and it was a blatant trip. The referee was right in front of it. They didn't call it. I don't know why that was a penalty, but it was, and the Flyers had a couple really good plays on that penalty kill. Hart had a few nice saves through traffic. Sealer had a huge block on the inside of his leg, ended up killing that one off, and the Hayes line had a really good shift late. Frost had a couple nice plays, and just a much better start to the first period than the last game. It was 3-1. You got the goal at the end of the period from Provorov. You think to yourself, okay, it's 3-1 now, and then they ended up tying it, losing in regulation with the empty netter. So this time around, good first. You went into that building, which is a tough building to play in. It wasn't really a factor tonight. It was pretty quiet early. The shots were 16-14 Jets after one, and they didn't have too many crazy chances. They had some looks at the net, but I thought the Flyers did a good job of just really limiting most of their chances in tight. It felt like the Flyers had good forward support, and really the forecheck created a lot, especially in the second period. Delorier had a chance in tight. Then they got a power play. Konechny cross-checked by Dubois, and it was just a really dumb penalty from Dubois to take. And the Jets only had like 2 shots. Up until this point, the Flyers only had 1, but a lot of the play was in the Jet zone. They had a rush. After I typed it, they had the 1 shot, Winnipeg. They had a rush with some pressure. I thought the Flyers did a good job defending it. They were able to defend the push from the Jets, and just overall, they kind of kept everything relatively calm in front of Hart, and then they get a goal. Bellows scores, and he had some plays in the first period, like literally his first shift, he had a pass in front for Delorier, like I mentioned earlier, and overall, he in some of these other games, Bellows, he didn't look great. Like, it wasn't even like he didn't look, again, I don't want to say he didn't look good, but there were some moments where it was just, he looked very invisible. Like, I didn't really know he was there. And he had a really good game tonight. I mean, he ends up scoring. There was a nice play by Ristolainen, and he ends up finishing this game, Risto, with two assists, and he had a really nice pass on this one, another one on the third goal of the game for the Flyers. Again, Ristolainen, I've written about it, I've talked about it, I've said it on the videos and the podcast and everything. He's had, he's had a lot of good moments recently. Defensively, he's been good. He's changed. And Brad Shaw and Torts, more Shaw, but, everything has just really worked out with Ristos. And then especially this month, the month of January, I think that's honestly benefited him really more than any other Flyer, because he's genuinely turning into that defenseman that we at least hope that we could get, because sometimes when you look at him, you're just like, oh my God. But now that part of his game is gone. Like, it to me it is. Like, I haven't seen it. There's been times where he makes smart plays. He's certainly playing with confidence, and it was a really nice pass on the goal from Bellows, and it's 2-0 Flyers, and they had some looks. Frost had a nice play to get into the D zone after that. Jets called a timeout with 7 minutes left. I said to myself watching this, you have to just get through this period without letting them get a goal or at least tie it, if that were to be the case, right? Because if you go into that period, it's 2-1, maybe even tied, and you're like, oh, well, it's a brand new game. Flyers survived it, though. There was a 4-on-4 Tippett and Pionk. I personally thought it should have been a Flyers power play. I didn't really think Tippett did much. He might have whacked Hellebuck, but I didn't see that on the initial play, so that was probably the reason why I put that down. Lawton ended up having a chance late. Again, good period overall. The Flyers added to it. And in the third, the Jets had some pressure, and the Flyers answered right back with that goal. Tippett, beautiful pass from Ristolainen, right up the ice, snipes it. A couple minutes later, 2-on-1. Flyers had a play just circling it outside. Lawton skates up with that burst of speed. Beautiful saucer pass. D'Angelo, 2 goals in 2 games for him. And Hart had a really nice save on Scheifele before that, and when the puck came around, it was just open ice, and Lawton just skated all the way up. And they ended up pulling Hellebuck. As you see on the board, Riddick had 3 saves, so he came into the game. Konechny had a chance off the rush. He could have scored. He had the wraparound chance in the second period. He had this one. Like, he had so many chances in this game to score, at least get a point. Unfortunately, did not. And, for the Flyers, Braun had an interference penalty, and then Cates had a delay game. And Cates had a really good game. Had the goal and an assist. He had the pass. He was the one who passed it to Ristolainen, and who set up Bellows for the second goal of the game. And just overall, I thought Cates had a really good game. Like the details and on the wall and everything. He's so good at that. So good at that. And There's been a lot of good things that we've seen from him and Tippett, and even Frost. Like Frost, even in the games where he doesn't get points, he still generates plays. He still gets looks at the net. He's still creating offense, and he had the assist in this game, and it was a really nice pass overall. And for those three guys, Frost ends this game with an assist. Cates a goal and an assist, and Tippett a goal and an assist. And just overall, that's the type of stuff that you want to see. And Bellows gets a goal too. He's a younger guy, obviously hasn't played that much, but still, like you're getting contribution from these guys, and it's been working. You're seeing this type of stuff more, and you're seeing legit improvement from this team. So that's the good thing. That's the good sign. Now the hope is to come out of the All-Star break for Hayes, who's going to the All-Star game, and the rest of the Flyers to enjoy the break, use it well, be able to kind of just go through everything smoothly. Just make sure that when they come back, you're ready to go, because there's been times where the Flyers in recent years have had breaks like this, or long breaks, or even the Christmas break, for example, which is really only a couple of days, and they look flat. So we'll see what happens. The next game is February 6th. It's a Monday night, and then they don't play again until Thursday. So like 2 games in the span of like, what's that, like a week and a half, or like 2 weeks basically. So it's gonna be rough, because you have some tough games coming up. You have the Islanders, you have Edmonton, who's been better of late. You have Seattle, who looks like one of the better teams in the league. You have Nashville as well, who isn't great, and the Flyers already beat them this year early in the season, though. So, again, we'll see what happens. Hayes going to the All-Star game. Thanks, everybody, so much. Remember to hit that subscribe button down below if you enjoyed this video. Again, we got the watch party. The next one coming up is February 11th against the Nashville Predators. The stream will start at noon here on YouTube, so make sure you check that out. And I got a whole new setup for that, too, so really excited to announce that. Kind of put that out there for you guys as well. And if you missed the podcast last night with Craig Berube and Nick McElwain, check that out. That's on the live section of the channel. Check that out, watch that. It's a little under 2 hours. It was a really good show overall, so check that out. Again, thanks everybody so much. Hit that subscribe button down below if you like this video, and I'll talk to you all again soon.